The first story is all about Destiny 3, you guys. Anon the Nine is saying that it takes place on Europa, that there's going to be a PvPvE mode that's not like the Division, that the Guardians can use the darkness. Development is starting right now. Chris Barrett is the game director. Luke Smith is still there in a big role, and they're going balls out with the RPG stuff. So that's what's going around on Reddit.
Rumor.
Okay. We have to label it rumor because it's some guy on Reddit.
Yeah.
But apparently people are saying he's been right about a few things. I wasn't able to verify what he's been right about yet. So what are we thinking about this? What's your temperature?
So
you in the red, you in the cold, you in the middle?
I mean, so here's the thing. I think that I remember something like this before when we were talking about Rise of Iron.
Yeah.
And then Rise of Iron came out. So, I mean, it feels odd that would be happening so soon. Mm-hmm. I don't personally believe that it's, real. I believe that there's obviously maybe some merit to these people being involved, and obviously there's a Nextiny or Destiny 3 coming. But yeah, to know the details about it this soon, I don't think so.
Yeah. So like if we look back at like the original game trailer, File 1, Andres, we can actually see the original concept of what Destiny was supposed to be. And I collected some assets here to kind of take us through up to Destiny 2 and what the game ended up becoming. What do we think about these mechanics? Like, what do you like the idea of being able to choose darkness or light as your power, Steven? And like, what would be your take on a PvP VE mode where you could fight for territory and grief other players?
It sounds really interesting. It also says that they are going balls out with the RPG stuff. And before Destiny 1 first came out, I always thought it would be like that. I thought it'd be really heavily PvE focused. Mm-hmm. And it turned out like it wasn't really PvE focused. But I'm hoping they take Forsaken, they amplify it, and they just make like an amped up version of Forsaken, because Forsaken's awesome.
Yeah.
I've always wanted Destiny 3 to kind of be like, did you guys ever play Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic?
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah.
So the first one, you're a character, you're Revan, which is like this big Sith Lord, and you can choose if you're good or bad.
Yeah.
But in the second one, the sequel, you play as a different character and you hear like tidbits of Revan and what you did in the first game. And I've always kind of thought it would be interesting if we were like a different Guardian in Destiny 3 and we'd hear about like our Guardian now and like the crazy triumphs that we've done, and like, I don't know. I thought that'd be cool.
So basically what we're doing today is we're going to play along. We're going to assume that this rumor is founded. And just so you know, like, we're not saying that this is true or anything. So we're just going to kind of go with the conversation that's going on right now. I really like the idea of being able to choose darkness or light. Really happy to hear that Christopher Barrett is game director, and that Luke Smith is still has a big role at the company.
Yeah.
You know, two long-standing faces there. But if we look back at this Destiny 1 footage, the main focus was the darkness in all the promotional materials. And I feel like we got pretty far away from that, and they brought it back by the time we got to Forsaken. But yeah, man. And we never saw Europa. It was sort of hinted about in some of the stuff, but it would have been great to see more of Europa.
Yeah,
I think one of the maps are on Europa. Maybe.
Is it? I don't know. But I know there's a lot of concept art for it. And if you look back, all the concept art that was shown off has always been in the game later on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but way back early in Destiny 1, there were concept arts of the Titan using a shield, the Dawn Blade, and they were like, oh, cool, it's like concepts that never made the game, and look what happened.
Yeah.
Eventually they did. I want those frogs, the big frogmen
The big
that you
frogs,
can ride.
the wolf or the tiger.
The tigers.
Yeah,
are
the
sitting
tiger.
next to
Man,
the,
like,
the
I actually did
planets
a great interview with Christopher Barrett about like the stuff that they had to sacrifice, and they're like, we leaned a little bit too much into fantasy, is what he said, and they kind of had to get rid of some of that super early stuff. But yeah, you're right. They were able to revisit and see, hey, like, let's get that shield in there. Oh, there. Remember Aldrin?
Aldrin, yeah.
Like,
Aldrin.
that scene never takes place in the game.
Yeah, it's crazy to see all this stuff because, I mean, when you look at how small the Nova Bomb is.
The Nova Bomb.
fast
Like,
it went,
yeah.
too.
I actually remember I was actually at I think it was E3 probably 2015 no 14 I can't remember now which was the one where they played through the first part there. I was with Fran actually, and it's pretty crazy to be in the audience and see that just before Destiny 1 was released, because when you look back at pre-alpha footage and
Captured that demo 3 times.
I
They
was
let me
wondering.
capture it.
Yeah.
And they had it down to a T. There were slight variations in each demo, so they were playing live.
Yeah.
But man, it was pretty.
Well, yeah,
on
like
point.
it was, but it didn't. It's funny when you look back at what Destiny 1 became. There was a lot of things. I think there was even like more than like 6 to 8 people in a public event. It almost seemed like you could, all just magically show up and kill this walker. Like there was things that obviously made it to the game, but then there was other things that didn't or evolved over time. But that's pretty natural, I think, in game development. And it's weird. It's weird looking back at all these moments because you do get like crazy memories, nostalgia moments from Destiny 1.
Huge nostalgia.
Yeah. And it wasn't that long ago. Like, it was only like 3 or 4 years. But, I mean, there was just a lot of hype, like, leading up to this game.
So with this stuff in mind, going balls out with RPG stuff. And
How many times are we going to say that?
I want to get at least 3 in. I want to get
All
3
right,
in.
just check.
Bad phrasing. Anyway,
What?
yeah. So there's that, and he also went on to say, I don't have the quote here, but he did say that they know that this is going to like scare off the
like,
casuals,
more casual
and
leaning
they're not really worried about it. And look at what happened with Forsaken, right? Forsaken might be scary to casuals.
Yeah.
But look how many people are playing Destiny again because there's interesting things happening. I actually misspoke last week. I said not a lot is going on. Yes, there was a lot of
That's true.
stuff going on. It was like the busiest week ever. Meatball was in the game. And all these things were
I
happening.
got him. I got the meatball.
Yeah, and CJ got him. I didn't have time to play because I was finishing Red Dead Redemption 2. I finished the whole campaign. That's why
look
I've
at
been
me.
in,
I see,
in Red
I
Dead
see.
land. Well, I can't wait for everybody to get to play that game because I know a lot of people want to check it out.
No meatball yet, though?
I haven't had time to play.
So how many Gambit matches have you ran? Because we were talking about... Because Fran...
We looked. It was like 97.
Okay.
Fran ran 3.
And Fran ran 3. Exactly. So I think I looked at how many Primevals I had, and it's like 80 to 100. So I probably ran maybe 40 to 50 matches. So it's interesting to see how many different sort of variations are to people's games. And you played 100 and something, didn't you, to get it?
I think I played 103 or something.
Yeah.
We had a really solid team though, and we would go on long streaks.
CJ was solo though.
Good.
Yeah, I actually
Solo, dude.
I did.
You got it
It
solo?
was funny. I
Impressive.
hit a photo of the teammates, and it was crazy. Yeah, I went in. I didn't know them, and dude, that moment when he spawns, I was in my bedroom, and my wife was in the living room, and I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Sorry. And I got all giddy, and I was like, oh dear God, teammates don't suck now. And the 17 kills is what I ended up having. To actually do it. So there was a combination of me invading and 2 other people taking him down. But that is an exciting moment. That's one of those things where when it happens, you're like, it's a mix of, okay, this is rare. It's a coveted weapon. I want to get it. And yeah, that was probably one of my craziest moments so far with Destiny.
Let's reel it back in to this topic at hand. The Destiny 3 rumor. What besides this stuff does sound cool. What is something that absolutely needs to remain intact besides the gunplay? I think we can all agree that gunplay is pretty solid. What's something that needs to be added or something that needs to remain, if you guys can think of that? For me, I'll tell you that I want to see those fleshed out RPG mechanics. I want to see guns that sort of evolve. I really like the Solstice of Heroes, which we have a clip of.
Yeah.
The Solstice of Heroes armor evolution was one of the coolest mechanics that I've seen Destiny do in a while. So really, really like that. And I would love to see more of that in Destiny. Like, what if you started with tattered armor and you built it up and you became super powerful? And there were many different gear sets that just looked really, really cool and well designed. That's what I would like to see fleshed out a little more. Do one of you guys have a prepared answer?
Yeah, I mean, here's what I'm wondering, and I'm interested to see what you guys think. I've had this comment about PUBG and Fortnite and all these other games that are out right now, and I think Destiny's biggest challenge, obviously, is that it is constantly in a state where it's trying to appease multiple audiences, different type of people. Would you want Destiny to be a PvE-only game and forego PvP, traditional PvP?
No.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either, like for me personally, but it's amazing when you actually look at all the different people and what they want. There's always this sense that there's a PvE crowd and a PvE crowd.
PvE and PvP.
Or PvE and PvP crowd, yeah. And they don't really kind of want to play nice together, or they think that, you know, the thing that I want is most important. And I think that's really difficult for them to, you know, I always say that for balancing the game is tough. So I'm curious if we put that survey out there, what would people want? Like, I don't know if people would want an exclusively PvE game, but if you listen to comments...
What are you saying you want?
I'm saying... So that's what's weird, is that I personally like PvP better, but I don't know if you could make Destiny exclusively a PvE game.
Simple question. Why not both? What's the problem with having both?
So right now, I think the issue with having both is how do you constantly balance or make a game that is exclusive that people feel like they can grind into and get into what that game is.
So do you feel they've done a poor job of that, especially with the current update?
I don't think they've done a poor job. I think that they
Putting you
can
on the hot
do.
seat.
No. I think that they've done exactly what they can do, and that's it. Like, I think if you look at like Fortnite and PUBG and anything that's PvP focused only, there's just like Fortnite is doing amazing things within the context of that space, but they don't really have to deal with any of these other problems that Bungie has. So I'm curious.
I think if they were to do it separately, CJ, it would lose the magic of getting those weapons in the wild that are good in
I agree.
good in PvP versus PvE.
So I think so as well. Like, and to me, that's what's special about Destiny. But imagine if that Destiny did had potentially a PvP focused only mode, and it was exclusive to what that is, and it had nothing to do with grinding for PvE.
You mean like Halo?
Yes, yes, but you take all the elements. So maybe there is a Destiny 3, but it actually splits, those facets of the game, and they have absolutely nothing to do with each other.
I absolutely hate that idea.
No, I
Thank
know.
you, CJ.
That's fine.
Steven, what's your thing that the game needs?
Well, the game needs. Well, can I chime in on what CJ said?
Yeah, we do have to move on to the next topic.
So,
and I want you to have your chance.
I think Forsaken, it's a pretty good blend right now. I think what happened in Destiny 1 is people wanted it to be a competitive esport, and
Right.
like
They are not moving in that direction.
no,
like,
and
at all.
I think once people realize that this game is not an esport, it's not competitive. There are things that are always gonna be broken. Like right now, there's too many shotguns, etc., and there's exotics. I think once people realize that it's not going to be that, and they just embrace it for what it is,
Yeah.
which I have done because
Me too.
Personally, in D1, I wish it was I like really wanted it to be an esport.
Yeah.
I realized in D2 it's not going to happen. There's no custom games. There's no spectator mode.
But
there's
that
things
was
broken.
That was the weird thing about Destiny 2 year one, the way it launched. You thought that potentially
I gotta
it
cut
was
you
going
guys
to be
off.
that.
You're going on a
Yeah.
whole different topic.
No, I
about
know, but
PvE versus PvP. I really want to wrap up the segment about what you want from Destiny
Okay,
3.
what I want in
and then
Destiny
we can
3.
What do you
revisit.
want?
We can revisit this.
What do you
topic.
want?
What I want in Destiny 3 is I want them to take Forsaken and expand it. I want hundreds of weapons, hundreds of armor sets. I don't want reskins. I want them to really dive into the PvE part of the game. And we're going to talk about this later when we talk about what's our favorite part in Forsaken. But I really want them to just dive balls deep into the PvE, into the PvE section.
That sounds great.